Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join me as we explore Southwest's lost historical characters, stunning desert vistas, forgotten Native American history, or tales of lost gold mines. There's always something new to discover. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Southwest Desert. Today we're diving into the fascinating history of Goldfield, Nevada, once known as the Queen of the Camps. This is a tale of sudden wealth, audacious theft, and the boom and bust cycle that defined so many mining towns in the early 20th century. Our story begins in the fall of 1903, about 20 miles south of the newly established camp of Tumultuous, Nevada. Picture a lone tent pitched at the base of Columbia Mountain, battered by howling winds and swirling sand. This was the humble beginning of what would soon become one of the richest gold mining towns in American history. The tent belonged to Harry C. Stimler, a 22-year-old prospector of half-Cherokee descent. Stimler had missed his chance to strike it rich in nearby Tonopah, discovered just 3 years earlier. Drowning in debt and armed with only a grubstake from Tonopah's founder, Jim Butler, and another investor named Kendall, Stimler was down to his last shot at fortune. As fate would have it, the fierce windstorm that nearly blew away Stimler's tent also revealed his ticket to riches. When the dust settled and the sun rose on that autumn morning, Stimler found himself camped almost directly on top of a rich ore deposit. In a nod to the tempestuous weather that led to his discovery, he named his first claim Sandstorm. Shortly after, he staked a second claim called January. These two claims would become the foundation of Goldfield, a name that would soon be on the lips of fortune seekers across the nation. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest tale. Please leave a like, comment, and share. If you would like to help support my channel and time, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. News of Stimler's discovery spread like wildfire. Hard rock miners from Idaho, Montana, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah began pouring into the area. They were joined by prospectors, speculators, and dreamers from all walks of life, each hoping to carve out their own piece of the golden pie. On October 20th, 1903, a group of 17 men gathered on the main street of the fledgling camp. Perched atop a pile of lumber, they discussed the organization of a proper mining district. Among them were characters with colorful names like Doc O'Toole, Johnny Jones, and Doc White Wolf. But it was the youngest of the group, Claude M. Smith, who would play a pivotal role in the town's founding. When the group needed someone to serve as the official claim recorder, they turned to Smith. Despite his protests of inexperience, the others insisted. "Hell, you can't," one of them exclaimed. "You can read and write, can't you? We'll tell you what to do. You're elected." Reluctantly, Smith accepted the position. His first act was to suggest a name for the new camp, Goldfields. The group approved, though the final S was later dropped, and Goldfield was officially born. For the first couple of years, development in Goldfield was slow. Some early speculators grew restless as veins seemed to pinch out or disappear entirely. But those who kept the faith were soon rewarded beyond their wildest dreams. The turning point came with the discovery of the Mohawk Mine. Its ore was so rich that it catapulted Goldfield from a struggling camp to a boomtown virtually overnight. By 1907, just 4 years after its founding, Goldfield boasted a population of 15,000 and had produced the staggering sum of $45 million in gold, equivalent to well over $1 billion today. In its heyday, Goldfield was home to some of the richest mines in the world. The Mohawk, Jumbo, Red Top, Combination, Florence, and others produced ore of almost unbelievable quality. Some veins assayed as high as $20,000 per ton, and in 1908, one particularly rich vein yielded ore worth $76,000 per ton. A local poet, J.W. Scott, captured the town's newfound glory in verse. Splendid, magnificent queen of the camps, mistress of countless Aladdin's lamps, deity worshipped by kings and tramps. The lure she is of the West. But with great wealth came great temptation. As Goldfield's mines began producing riches beyond belief, they became targets for a practice known as high grading. High grading was a form of theft where miners would smuggle out small amounts of the richest ore, often called picture rock or jewelry rock because of its visible seams of pure gold. What started as opportunistic pilfering soon grew into an organized, large-scale operation that would cost mine owners millions. Miners working for $4 or $5 a day would sometimes leave their shifts with as much as $50 worth of rich ore concealed in specially designed pockets in their clothing. Over time, it's estimated that millions of dollars worth of gold was stolen in this manner. At first, the mine owners and lessees paid little attention to high grading. They were too busy skimming the richest deposits themselves, often bypassing lower-grade ore in favor of the most profitable veins. But as the practice grew more widespread and brazen, they could no longer ignore its impact on their bottom line. By 1907, the mine owners had had enough. They began implementing measures to crack down on the thieves in their midst. One of their first moves was to install changing rooms where miners were required to change clothes as they entered and left the mines. This innovation was met with fierce resistance from the miners. It interfered with their lucrative side business of smuggling out rich ore. The Western Federation of Miners, the powerful union representing the workers, protested vehemently against these new security measures. The Mine Owners Association didn't mince words in their assessment of the situation. In a statement issued on December 9, 1907, they accused the union of encouraging, protecting, and assisting its members in stealing ore from the mines. They claimed that in just 6 months, over $1 million worth of ore had been stolen from the Mohawk mine alone. As tensions escalated, law enforcement began cracking down on high graders and their accomplices. Raids were conducted both in the mines and on the premises of assayers suspected of processing stolen ore. One of the most dramatic incidents occurred on December 10, 1907, when 5 miners were arrested at gunpoint on the 300-foot level of the Rogers Syndicate lease. 3 of the men were caught red-handed with 100 pounds of choice specimens valued at $20 a pound, a small fortune at the time. But the miners weren't the only ones profiting from high grading. Many assayers in Goldfield were complicit in the scheme, providing a crucial service by processing and selling the stolen ore. It was estimated that at least 90% of the assaying firms in Goldfield were dealing illicitly in high-grade ore. Law enforcement began targeting these operations as well. On December 17, 1907, a raid was conducted on an assayer's premises at 618 Fifth Avenue North. The setup was elaborate, with electric bell systems to warn of approaching strangers and a peephole in the door. The assayer was allegedly caught in the act of reducing stolen ore. Another assayer, George Richardson, was arrested for receiving stolen ore. He was said to have been caught previously in Pueblo, Colorado, with $16,000 worth of specimens from Goldfield's Mohawk mine in his possession. Despite the efforts to curb high grading, the practice continued to drain wealth from Goldfield's mines. This, combined with the depletion of the richest ore deposits and labor unrest, led to a gradual decline in the town's fortunes. The involvement of radical labor organizers like Big Bill Haywood of the Industrial Workers of the World, also known as the Wobblies, further complicated matters. Haywood moved into Goldfield to direct strike tactics and keep the miners in a constant state of agitation. As production declined and costs rose, many of the mines became unprofitable. The boom that had seemed endless just a few years earlier began to sputter and fade. Today, Goldfield stands as a shadow of its former self. It dreams in the shadow of Columbia Mountain, much as it did when Harry Stimler first pitched his tent there over a century ago. The story of Goldfield is more than just a tale of a mining boomtown. It's a microcosm of the American West at the turn of the 20th century, a place where fortunes could be made or lost overnight, where law and order were often tenuous concepts, and where the promise of untold riches drew people from all walks of life. It's a reminder of the impermanence of wealth and the enduring allure of gold. From the initial discovery by Harry Stimler to the height of the boom and the gradual decline, Goldfield's history is filled with colorful characters, audacious schemes, and the timeless struggle between labor and capital. As we look back on Goldfield's heyday, we're left to wonder what other riches might still lie buried beneath the Nevada desert, and will Goldfield ever reclaim its crown as the queen of the camps? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the legacy of Goldfield, with all its glitter and grit, will continue to captivate us for generations to come. This has been another episode of the Southwest Desert. Thank you for listening, and join us next time as we uncover more hidden gems from America's gold rush era. Please leave a like, comment, and share. If you would like to help support my channel and time, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Happy trails.